SAPCO International is a company that was founded back in March of 1986, and our purpose is to design electronic devices and assistive technology to help physically and cognitively disabled people. Our goal here is to allow the disabled to complete their education, to gain more independence, improve their quality of life, and re-enter the workforce so that they can be financially independent as well. To date, the SenSei system really is a compilation of about 80 different functions. Over the last 5 years, we did a lot of field testing and put them in every one of the rehabs in the United States and compiled into one what we call an integrated system, meaning that we have one system that can perform up to 80 different functions. We also take products such as trackballs, joysticks, and some other types of input devices and software that's currently on the market. We make some modifications to it to especially adapt it for the physically disabled population. And by compiling our proprietary hardware and software into one unit with the modifications of some existing hardware, it reduces the price and makes the computer very functional for the disabled population. The most important aspect of the SenSei system is it allows the physically and the mentally disabled people independence. It improves the quality of their life and allows them computer access, access to technology, access to the world around them. It allows them to become employable, to complete their education. But most importantly, it gives them a feeling of independence. It gives them true independence. If they can get a job and they can work and earn their own living, that's financial independence. If they can control the world around them, they can use a computer to put their thoughts down, to write books, to hold a job and complete their education. It gives them a personal satisfaction.
Welcome home.
One of the exciting things about this industry is that every one of the clients that we work with is absolutely unique. They all have their own unique stories. Skip Van Fowler is probably one of the most compelling and emotional clients that we've worked with to date. Skip, 14 years old, was riding his bicycle behind a delivery truck when the delivery truck put it into reverse and backed up over Skip, causing severe brain damage as well as physical disabilities. In Skip's case, he's considered what they call an incomplete quadriplegic, meaning that for all intent and purposes, he has no muscle control or feeling from his neck down. But because he is incomplete, he can move his left arm to some extent. That was one of the disabilities that we were most afraid of in putting Skip in front of the computer, is how can he actually physically run it. He had no head control, enough able to use a head mouse. So we used a modified trackball in his case because he did have some motion of his left arm. After using it just for several months, the muscle control and the strength in his left arm increased, that for the first time in 5 years since his disabling accident, he was actually able to move his own mechanical wheelchair, as well as fine enough motor control to run a computer system. The exciting thing is that until recently, with Skip's inability to communicate, if he wanted the television channel changed or a light turned on or off, or the radio or the fan or anything within his environment, he not only could not do it himself, but couldn't communicate those needs to his caretakers. So the really exciting thing with Skip is that once he got in front of the computer system using the environmental control facet of the SenSei system, was able to turn his own television channels and raise and lower his heating and air conditioning and adjust the fan, which gave him a level of independence that he had not seen since before his accident.
When I first met Skip originally, he was completely dependent upon his nurses and family to accomplish anything, from a simple task of turning on a light or getting a radio or actually changing a television channel. After we had incorporated SenSei into Skip's life and the computer system that he had, I've seen amazing growth in Skip in terms of his independence and be able to do things.
Good job, Skip. Very nice.
The ease of use of the SenSei system has allowed Skip, with some cognitive impairments, to be able to interface with the computer in ways I wouldn't have expected. The typical interface on a computer is basically word-oriented, and because of Skip's unique problems, some of the word menus and so forth would be very confusing to him, whereas the SenSei system is actually specifically designed for folks with cognitive impairments, and the way that the home screen is set up and so forth, it provides a lot of ease of navigation for Skip to be able to move from area to area. All these things have allowed Skip to move along much quicker than I would have thought, I think, using just a conventional computer system.
The most important aspect of the SenSei system is it allows the physically and the mentally disabled people independence. It improves the quality of their life and allows them computer access, access to technology, access to the world around them. It allows them to become employable, to complete their education. But most importantly, it gives them a feeling of independence. It gives them true independence. If they can get a job and they can work and earn their own living, that's financial independence. If they can control the world around them, they can use a computer to put their thoughts down, to write books, to hold a job and complete their education, it gives them a personal satisfaction.
Being home alone and not being able to turn lights on. If you are home alone, you have to be left for a short time, even an hour or two, which is not that long. And suddenly it's dark and there's no light in the house, and you're sitting in darkness unless the TV's on. Then when TV blacks out for a minute, you are sitting in blackness. It does get to be uncomfortable being in dark. Another thing is we used to have to leave the doors open. We would leave them unlocked and let people know that when you come over, that I'm home. Mom will be at work, but I'm home. Now anybody could come and open the door, you know, when they want to break in. And so I would always have to be, well, who came
Before
in?
I had
Who came in?
SenSei,
Hopefully they were
my days would consist of Mom going to work and my attendant getting me up in the morning, and then before she'd leave, she'd put me in front of the TV, and that's where I would sit. I would be in front of the TV from noon until I'd go to bed at night at 10. So 10 hours a day of sitting there vegetating, watching whatever, one channel, until my mother got home from work, whether it was good or not. Well, it was no kind of a life. The freedom that the unit has given me, I can actually be a person. That's the neat part about it. It has let me be me, and I haven't been able to be me in many years. And because of the unit, I can be. With the SenSei, I am short of having to have myself fed and put into bed and that. I now can do things for myself. I am actually back to that person I was before I was disabled. Short of the fact that I cannot walk and I cannot use my hands, I am emotionally that same person. My self-esteem has been boosted up more higher than the Empire State Building, I guess you could say. I cannot put in words how I feel.
I think as a teacher or a special educator of any sort, or even a therapist, I would recommend very highly that you look at a system like SAFCO International SenSei system to be able to allow students or clients that you're working with the ability to be able to interact with their environment, to be able to speak with other people, to be able to get a lot of information that has been kind of locked inside out in the open by using these kinds of devices, these assistive technology devices, and specifically SenSei system, which I think that anyone who's in the field would owe it to themselves to be able to see a demonstration of the system in action and be able to see a student like Skip who has benefited greatly from the system working on it.
During our nearly 6 years of research and development, our most valuable tool has been the physically disabled people themselves. Through their use of the SenSei system and their feedback, we've been able to design a tool that satisfies their needs, as well as the needs of the educational systems, the corporations, and the rehabilitation hospitals, both here in the United States and internationally. As you've seen with Liz and Skip, we here at SAFCO International are very proud of the fact that we've been able to design a system that increases their self-esteem, their self-worth, and more importantly, their independence.
It's my way of life now. I did think about it before, what would I ever do if I'd never found out about it. And I don't like to dwell on it too much, so I never did really go into my thoughts. But if I do think about it, it'd be very sad. Very, very sad. I would be doing the same things I was very unhappy doing
before I got it. And now that I have it, I can't tell you how. Now that I have it, I just can't tell you. I would just die if someone took it away. Literally, I would just die.